And hello out there in Twitchland, it's Wasabi1 here, bringing you yet another amazing Q&A with the developers from Faultline Games, makers of Natural Selection 2 Combat. I hope you guys are as excited as I am today to check out what's been going on with these guys, and I'm going to go ahead and bring them in now. Welcome today, Mr. Acid Rain, Mr. Odkin. I hope I'm getting that right. You're going to have to correct me if I get it wrong. I'm going to butcher everybody's names today. Winston, who is actually Alex, and I'll probably call him Alex because I do not remember to call him Winston. Internet's live. It's super effective. And Mr. Toasty, how are you?
Hello.
Great.
Hey.
So, welcome, guys. We're super excited. This is obviously combat. Super exciting. We are getting to see some cool new stuff today. I'm going to go ahead and even jump in game right now because you guys have given me access. And you know what's funny is, you know, last time we did this, I'd played around a little bit and I'd seen the game and I, you know, kind of knew what was going on. But, you know, you got to kind of play dumb because you want people to kind of learn what's what. So I'm asking questions that I obviously know the answer to. Right now, I have not played this game in, month and a half, 2 months? And I've just gotten access to it. I literally am joining right now as if, like, I have no idea, because I have no idea what has changed since then. So we're going to learn all sorts of cool new stuff, take a look at potentially one, maybe two of the maps, and go from there. So it looks like I'm having connectivity problems to the server, but we'll get that worked out here in just a second. Alex, can you tell us what's been going on?
Well, yeah, we've been really hard at work on this in the last 2 months. We've finished all the main game features, and we're now focusing on polishing, making sure the game runs well, making sure it's easy to pick up and play as well. That's been our main focus for the last 2 months, just the detail that makes all the difference.
All right, well...
By the way, the server's back now.
Yeah.
User
seeing that
left
right
your
there.
channel.
Going ahead and jumping in. You guys, what you guys are seeing are the new loading screens. This is definitely different if you've played Natural Selection 2. You know, same kind of feel, but some, you know, something new. You guys have also taken a lot of time to kind of create a little more lore about Natural Selection's universe with combat. Is that not true?
Yeah, absolutely. We felt it was really important because otherwise the game, I mean, it needs a bit more to it in order to, you know, to fit some kind of central themes around the world that you're playing in. Otherwise, it would just be a very simple, boring action game. So the guys on the art team spent a good couple of weeks coming up with lore for each of the levels and sort of a backstory. And the levels have been designed with a general fit, so they actually fit into a small little universe of their own. Which is nice. I think we'll probably do a little trailer about it.
One of the things that's really kind of neat about the game in general is it shares a very similar art style to Natural Selection 2, being that, you know, there's from the same engine and game and everything. But, you know, thematically, you also have some unique music and stuff that's just for combat, correct?
That's right, yeah. I think maybe Tommy should talk more about that.
Yeah, so I've worked pretty hard on getting some new music into the game. There's a load of new sound effects as well. You'll probably hear a lot of the new sounds that come in with the game. We really wanted to make sure that combat stood apart from NS2 and also exist in the NS universe as well. So all the sounds fit properly in the NS universe while creating a new taste. Yeah.
And, you know, we're hearing that now, like, even just with the rifle right now, it's got a nice deeper sound to it. You know, what is it like to develop sounds and even, you know, ambient music or even soundtrack music for a game like Combat?
It's been really fun, and it's been really difficult as well. Since I didn't create the original NS2 music, it meant that it was much more difficult to overcome the feat of creating music that someone else has already created and staying true to a universe that already has an existing sound to it, an existing feel. So it was a little tough, but luckily for me, my specialty is in industrial type music, so I think that anyone who grabs Combat day one is going to absolutely love the music that's in the game. They're going to love the sound effects, and they're going to find that it fits perfectly with the Natural Selection universe.
New ability unlocked.
So I'm just, you know, I'm earning some skill points here. So the difference between, you know, this and maybe some other games is the fact that, you know, as you're moving around the map and you're killing things or you're helping teammates, you're gaining these experience, which turns into skill points. The skill points allow you to purchase upgrades in the buy menu. What's unique about the buy menu? I mean, what kind of options am I looking at being available here to me?
Okay, well, for each of the two teams, the options are very different. You're currently playing as a Marine, and the two main trees that we decided to focus on were a simple soldier type class, where you can upgrade your weapons. You've got a bit of choice there as to which direction you go, and then you can either buy a jetpack and fly around and gain more mobility, or you can become this giant robot suit that can punch aliens and have a minigun and stuff like that. The other playstyle that's quite effective, and one that I normally choose, but I'm not very good at that, is building. So the Marines can build a set of structures, and if you tend to those structures, it can really help your team, and you can level up just as viably with that. It's a sort of very valid playstyle in combat. And I suppose we can talk more about the aliens later.
Yeah, you know, right now we're gonna go ahead and play as Marines and hopefully get a little bit better here. You know, I love just being killed by things here. I mean, we got all sorts of neat new things too. You know, I know we talked about this before, but I think it's really worth highlighting is I'm seeing a lot of structures that I would see in Natural Selection 2 that required infestation that don't look to require that anymore. So, like a gorge can drop whips up on a wall and stuff like that?
Absolutely, yep. Infestation, we actually took it out performance reasons, and also because it allowed the mappers more flexibility with thematics. If they, you know, the old NS2 maps, you always had to design your map with the expectation that aliens would be putting infestation everywhere. So actually, we've taken that out, and now mappers can use other cues to indicate which side is which. Gives them a bit more freedom.
New ability unlocked.
And yes, it
Sorry.
kind of makes less
Combat.
sense with a commander.
No joke.
Yeah. Actually, going back to the sounds that you were mentioning earlier, we also have some new announcer sounds, and we have you know, new sounds that tell you when you can level up and things like that. I wonder if Tommy, do you want to talk about those a bit?
Yeah, so since combat is really, I mean, it's very combat oriented. So apart from NS2, you can kind of get lost in what's going on at times. So we got what I like to call some of the best in the business to do some voiceovers for, some announcer voiceovers. Lonnie Manella is fantastic to work with. Love her to death. She's done, I mean, just look at her Wikipedia. It's insane all the stuff that she's done, and she did the original NS1 Hive, the NS2 Hive. She's done so many things for the natural selection universe, so it only felt right to have her come back and kind of relive the NS universe in a new form. So we've updated the hive mind. She sounds a lot more pissed off. She's really angry, and that's basically, it's very lore driven in that sense. The announcer sounds for both of our game modes, which I'm sure we'll be talking about pretty soon, Capture Point and both the Team Deathmatch as well. They're just absolutely fantastic. Yeah, I can't wait to get them in. We're working on them now, and they should be in any build now.
Yeah. Well, I should mention that a little bit. We have male and female announcers, full set of sounds for both. And I've also, I mean, we've come from the NS2 modding community. That was kind of our roots, and so I've done everything I can to make this game as moddable as possible. So of course you can add new announcers as well.
So
with
does that
mods.
mean workshop integration?
Yes, workshop integration will be in from day one, and I've structured
there
the
right
code
now.
in a way to make it possible to modify as much as possible. Because we know what works and what doesn't in terms of that.
Proceed waypoint.
So, you know, one thing that I think a lot of people will quickly notice about this game is how I'm going to use frantic for lack of a better word, but that's not such a bad thing. But the frantic style gameplay. I mean, you know, that it's immediate, like pushing out. Yes, there's teamwork involved, and obviously that's going to be better for you in the long run. But I mean, you're constantly respawning in this game. I mean, it's almost deathmatch style.
Yes, we actually had a bug the other day which made it like a team deathmatch mode, and that was it never ended, but it still kept being quite fun, which is quite nice. We might actually put that in as a sort of last minute thing if we get time. But it's quite relentless. You get a little bit of breathing space back in your command chair. You get like a couple of seconds of spawn protection, and then that's it.
They pretty much just throw you right into the fray.
And yeah, I'm getting stomped on by Onai as we speak. You know, let's talk about some of the neat abilities that the Marines have to combat some of these larger life forms. Obviously, I can increase the damage of my weapons. I have quite a few different weapons at my disposal. Any new weapons or artillery that is coming to combat that is different from what people might know from natural selection?
Yes, so we have one major new weapon that we've added, and that's the heavy cannon, which is basically like a portable, yeah, it's like one of those anti-tank rifles from World War II, I suppose.
I'm going to refund all my points and try to buy one.
Yeah, it's very high accuracy, but you have to be. It does a lot of damage, but you have to hit them with it. It's similar in, I guess, similar in feel to the rifle from Day of Defeat. I don't know if you ever played that, but it's very if you hit them, it does very well. But you have to be very accurate. So it's very effective against the larger life forms, and if you're very skilled, it's very effective against the smaller ones too. But you have to hit them somehow.
So in order to purchase the heavy cannon, what is required for me to do that? Level
I think
8.
you just
I've
have
got
a
to be
minimum
level 8.
level, yeah.
Okay. So I just got to get
Most
some
of
more
the
levels.
upgrades are like that. They don't have
Level
much
8,
of a
1
tree.
point.
I'm going to hit this Onos here. Do some damage.
So you'll find
lurks.
that, as you can see, we have quite a few lurks, and the heavy cannon is, if you're able to hit them, it is the best choice to deal with lurks.
Proceed to waypoint.
It doesn't
it's
have
very accurate at range as well. It's like a little sniper rifle sometimes.
right, so it doesn't have the highest sustained DPS. The shotgun or the rifle would do actually more DPS, just hit things constantly. But it does have high DPS when you need it, and when you can very rarely hit alert reliably, it's extremely useful.
It also does armor piercing damage as well, so it's good at armored targets.
Proceed to waypoint.
I'm so close to level 8 here, but I keep getting killed by the Onos.
If you just do some damage to it, you'll get some XP for that when it dies.
Yeah, that would require me to actually be looking at it before I get stuffed.
Another I think big improvement over the mod, and I think it works great if you have maybe if you have a larger spread of skill in a game, is you gain experience based on how much damage you do to
Proceed to waypoint.
the life forms that die, and you also gain experience for welding. So it means you don't necessarily have to be the one getting all the kills. You can set up sentries, and as the sentries do damage, you will gain experience when the things that they damage die. And you'll also gain experience if you buy a welder. You can weld up your own buildings, you can weld up the command station, or other players, and you get quite a bit of experience. It's a very viable thing. It's not uncommon to see people at the top of the scoreboard who are just support with sentries and welding teammates. And of course, you can refund later on if that's how you wanted to go to level up, and you really wanted to go exo at the very end. That's totally doable.
Well, I have to say that the game is running really well for me. The graphics look awesome. I'm loving the new weapon models. The gameplay, as always, is fun and exciting. I think it gets a little more interesting, obviously, as we get closer to the countdown timer. I enjoy having the interface available to me to be able to see where I am in my XP and how things are working, with my teammates and stuff. Now I have a heavy cannon, and I'm going to do some damage. So
I'm watching you from above here.
Yeah.
I'm going to see what you're doing.
We're going to see how quickly I get completely stepped on here. Boom! Yeah. That's
There
Onos!
you go.
Okay, so the Onos totally wrecked me there. Did I do any damage on him?
I think you took him down by about a third. You have to be far away, basically.
So this is definitely more a long-range weapon. Whoa!
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, it's not that it doesn't work at close range, but by the time they reach you, you're pretty much going to die.
So am I seeing this right? That as I fire this, it's got like maybe a small little area of effect from where it hits, or
Very
is
small.
okay.
It's tiny. Yeah.
Yeah,
We
it's
did
small
have it
tracer.
much larger, but we found that it was difficult to balance it correctly. So we actually thought making it smaller was better. It kind of, you feel more satisfying when you land a hit with it now.
All right. So I'm just trying to think what else I can ask about Marines. I mean, Marines in general, I would say, are pretty self-explanatory, right? I mean, when it comes down to it,
One thing,
You know-
This is who we are, right? I mean, we are the Marines, we are the aliens. I mean, the human beings, the military force here. So it's something we're a little more used to. And in a minute, we'll switch over to aliens. Oh, and I totally took that Onos down. It was super effective.
Watch out.
And then died. Where was my heads up there, Winston?
Oh yeah, sorry, I should have called it. It came pretty fast though.
one big thing to mention is there is no longer a game timer. We changed the mechanic, how the Hive and CC take damage. So as you can see, there are 2 bars up at the top. The top bar, the darker blue one, represents the shield on each structure, and the lighter blue bar represents the health. The health can never be repaired. The armor can always be repaired.
So
And the health does not. The health doesn't start taking damage until the armor drops below 50%.
that is actually a really cool mechanic. So does that mean there's no more overtime like in previous editions of the game?
Correct.
Yep.
That was the whole point. So
And we've also. Oh, go on.
Good.
Sorry.
Good.
I totally called
Proceed to
it.
waypoint.
We didn't like, when games would end based on the timer, it was just kind of anticlimactic. We wanted there to be a big progression, some momentum going for one team that, they finally pushed over the wall and got the structure down.
So let's
And,
explain that again. The armor bar comes down, and once it goes below 50%,
Right, so now as you can see, the Hive is below 50%, and the health is flashing red. That means it's vulnerable
I'll do it,
to
yeah,
permanent
okay.
damage.
Main,
right?
main,
It's
main,
taking
main.
permanent damage now.
that's awesome. And so, and I'm sorry, just because I wasn't hearing that just at that last point. The health is not regainable, correct?
Right. So that, if you lose that, it's gone forever. And we didn't want to make the entire health bar. We wanted there to be some immune time, basically, which is currently up until 50% armor is removed. The health won't go down at all. We felt like putting that in will prevent people from just suiciding in over and over and over. So you actually have to make some sort of concerted push to do real damage in the game.
I think that's been a very effective measure, actually. I mean, just watching the playtests over the last couple of weeks, I've noticed a change in behaviour from that. People seem to be making the pushes a lot more,
Yep.
just
We're
because it's the
definitely-
only way to win now.
Right. We're definitely tweaking the numbers because, as you see, somebody's probably going to go gorge and heal it up with not much trouble at all. But we feel like this mechanic is definitely the way to go.
I have to say, I actually really want to commend you guys for that. I think it's a great mechanic. I think the fact that we can go in and we can do damage to a structure, the armor's still there to give you some sort of defense, but that it encourages you to actually push towards damaging their main base.
under attack.
Because previously, as it regained health from a crag or was welded by the Marines, you're right. Even at that end of that 20-minute mark, unless you really had a coordinated, Marine effort or something along those lines by the aliens to go and end the base strategically all in one hit, it pretty much wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, we had so many
Injured
games that
owners,
ended in
back to base.
overtime, and we always saw overtime as like a band-aid. It wasn't solving the problem; it was getting around it.
Yeah.
Let's go.
There was
The
there
other-
was also another problem. Sorry, there was another problem that we were facing with the overtime still in, was that people didn't want to
was
rush
down.
the other team's base until overtime hit, because then they knew at that point. Because back then you couldn't, when overtime hit, you couldn't weld at all, or you couldn't heal. So people would just sit and they would wait
Alien Junction.
till overtime hit, and then they say, okay, let's go in the game. Well, it's not really kind of what we're aiming for people to do. We want you to get in there as quick as possible, do some damage, and have the upside on your opponents immediately. And it just didn't feel right.
Onos
So
is inside of our base.
I think this way of going about doing it is just absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I agree. So, good question from the chat there I'm seeing is, What about Max and Arcs? I mean, I haven't
They
seen
are
them.
gone.
Gone. Okay, gone completely.
Now,
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
turn on the
one
lower
thing
part.
I thought might be an interesting ability, but we haven't done it, is a sort of Mac friend that follows you around. Maybe a sort of mid to late game upgrade that you can buy that would give you that. He just kind of, you spawn with him, he follows you, he heals your buildings, kind of like a buddy for the engineer class.
Oh my god. Oh no, it's all over the base.
But yeah, so they're not in the game. Although the models and the codes are definitely still available. If someone wanted to make a mod
No! Oh, I got
that
eaten!
involved them, that would be doable. Okay, so I'd like to answer a couple of questions from the chat. So the first question we got, this was even before the stream started, and I'm really sorry to take so long to get to it. The launch price. Now, we haven't been able to show it on our Steam store, but the launch price will be $14.99, and
A new ability
there
is
will be
available.
a launch discount as well.
A launch discount. And can you explain that a little bit more?
So the game will be discounted when it's launched, but we're not sure the amount yet.
Any welds? If anyone has
So, okay, so
Here,
just to
cover
understand
Gibbs, I know
is
he
your
has a
base
welder.
price is $15, but there on the actual launch of the game there is going to be a sale price.
I believe
I'll
so.
wait up.
Yeah,
I'm
we're
getting
still
prepared. I'll back
working
you
on
up.
it, but we're still working on the sort of figures. But I think that's what the approach will be.
And your launch
to encourage
date,
people to buy early.
when can people get their hands on this? Are we announcing that yet?
Yeah, absolutely. The game will be available on the 31st of October.
Halloween.
Halloween.
So
yeah,
in coordination
so
with Natural Selections
Welding
anniversary,
actors and
you will
Exactly.
be releasing combat to the public.
Yes. I think the other thing to mention is I believe Subnautica will be getting a early access at around the same time as well.
If
So
a
it's kind of a like big
can
date
go
for
in
Unknown
and-
Can we
Worlds.
get? We
and
got them
for
pretty
online.
pinched
That'd
it
be awesome.
there high. Can we
Main.
get some people up here?
Oh no, it's incoming main.
Gas grenades.
Well,
No, it's
this
no
is really
base.
exciting. I mean, you know, that
I
means that
can
the
deal
game
with
is
it, I
really
can
only
deal
2
with it.
weeks away from getting it in people's hands.
Full load.
What you know? I mean, what are your biggest you know
I see
biggest
both.
hurdles before this happens?
Well, I don't know. I think the biggest thing we need to do now is try and attract some attention, try and get as many people to hit as possible, so that there's a lot of people to play against when the game is released. I think if you know anyone that might want to play it, now's probably the time to mention that it's coming up. Yeah, that's what we're focusing on. That and getting the polish level to as high as possible. So, I mean, this weekend we've been working on more stuff. We've had, yeah, each week we kind of keep tweaking and tweaking and tweaking until we're, yeah, it's never finished, but it's one of those things where we've seen such an improvement over the last 2 or 3 months, and every week we seem to put some new feature or some new bit of polish in that's just like, wow, yeah, that's great. So we're just keeping on with that. I believe all the major technical hurdles are now done. So we have our Steam stats in the game. It keeps track of your kills, your experience that you gained at a consistent global level. And we have got plans to do something with that, but we're not able to announce it yet. But it will use that for matchmaking as well. So when you hit play now, it puts you in a server with people of a similar skill to you, which should help, as it's very focused on public play. That should really help with that.
What about bots?
Bots are in the game. I would say they are not the cleverest. We've not really been advertising them as a feature because they're really there just to give you something to do while you're waiting for the server to fill up. And normally, hopefully it won't take too long to do that, so you probably play with them for a couple of minutes max. But we thought it was better than just sitting on an empty server.
Well, I like the idea of at least having, you know, somebody to play with when you're you know, when you're waiting for other people to join the server. So as a person joins the server, does that become available? A slot open up for them, a bot stops, or does the bot keep going? Okay.
So the bots will ensure a minimum number of players are in there, and the server goes into kind of bot mode when you haven't got that many players. So I think we're thinking 6 might be the number that you. Once you've got 6 players, we turn the bots off, the game restarts, and then you're actually playing at that point. And the alien bots are a bit better than the marine bots, but both of them are sort of viable opponents when they don't do funny things like walk into walls. I mean, they're not perfect, but they're okay. You can play with them and they're not boring.
All right,
And
well,
they're definitely better on some maps than others.
we have been playing as Marines for a while.
Proceed to waypoint.
Let's see if we can coordinate this team to take a win here. All right, team, let's do this. Win. That's code for telling the aliens to not be as good. And now we're gonna
Let me send a message to
force
our
our way over to the alien hive because okay, so they're all rushing our base. It's gonna be a base trade. Here we go. And right now, I think that they're in a little bit better advantage. And what the world just happened? Oh, that's the. I'm guessing that's the shade.
User left your channel.
Proceed to waypoint.
Oh, they all came back. All right.
Proceed to waypoint.
Probably need something better than
User joined your channel.
Okay, bunch of points. You can just play a class and spec you want. Yeah, so I mean, let's show them that again. Inside this buy menu, I am able to purchase different weapons, different strengths of my abilities and everything. So that's kind of the great way to move out here. Is I have a lot of freedom to do what I want to do with my points and upgrade the way I want to upgrade. All right, so now we're gonna switch sides. So we want to go ahead and switch maps. Do we want to show another map?
Yeah, let's do
That's
it.
it.
Awesome.
Should we have a little vote on what map to show?
Let's do, I think, Pulse would be good.
Pulse is always good. Yeah,
It'll change the map for us.
it's doing it for us. We're
I
playing
think
map
it's going to
lottery
Kestrel
now.
just fine.
Do any of the guns have scopes? I'm guessing the answer to that is no.
I did actually
No.
work on a scope, but it's definitely not production ready.
I can
Yeah.
tell you from experience. In the majority of Twitch shooters, having a scope is about as useful as tits on a bull.
I think we're gonna have a kindly agree to disagree on that one. Okay, so this is a great
zoom
dark
on
the
map.
cannon might be useful.
Right.
Yeah, I think zoom features are great. I guess let me refine what I really mean. Having I don't
'Cause I
disagree
played
with
Quake
having
3,
scopes.
I kind of disagree
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, I don't think that having scopes are a bad thing, but I think you'll find the more you use the scope, the less chances you're gonna have of your surroundings. And in a game like NS2 Combat, where everyone is dying all the time, you have to really be paying attention. So when you're scoped in, you kind of like have that the horse blind vision going on. So
Yeah,
I'm
you will
definitely
get
not
attacked.
against it. Yeah, I'm definitely not against it. But it's one of those things. It's a huge trade-off for a Twitch shooter that's really fast-paced like Combat. But we're definitely not against it, and I wouldn't mind seeing
User
some type
joined
of
your
zoom
channel.
feature on the
User left your channel.
on the heavy cannon, which I mean it's a great idea.
So one thing I'm noticing here that's a little bit different to me, again, just coming from Natural Selection 2, and not trying to build too many comparisons, but they are part of the same universe, so it's nice to be able to show some of the differences and similarities. There's a mini-map for aliens in combat.
Yes, there is.
So, I guess the benefits of that is, especially on these maps, is you're getting a little bit better idea of what the rest of your team is doing.
Yes, well, the reason we put it in is because the Marines now have the ability to see their teammates through walls. The aliens never really, in the original Natural Selection 2, the aliens could see their teammates, hence didn't really need the mini-map as much. But now both sides are on a level playing field there.
As well as Aura. Aura is no longer. Yeah.
Yep. The other thing is that the Marines can still get an advantage with the minimap because they have the observatory. They can see aliens through walls as well when they've got one of those placed. I always use them. I don't know why more people don't. They're really handy.
New buy menu as well for the aliens. I know we looked at it last time. I love this. I'm guessing this is an alien heart.
Yes.
A little creepy here
so.
with the valves pulsating around me. So how does the buy menu work for the aliens as far as how they need to upgrade their abilities and such?
Well, the aliens will tend to spec one particular life form at a time, and you might then re-evolve and swap everything back out. So what might be appropriate for a Skull wouldn't necessarily be appropriate for one of the larger or slower or different life forms. The way they generally work is you're buying sort of utility upgrades first for smaller life forms, and then it's only when you get sort of mid to late game that you start getting access to the very heavy, the guys that can take real damage. So it's very much a stealth game for the aliens until about halfway through, at which point it switches gear, and then it becomes more about rushing in, getting as much damage done as possible, and then rushing out.
Well, I definitely dig the map. This is a map that we looked at last time. It's obviously gone through some big polish stages because it has a much cooler look to it than the previous run through. Do you plan to add right click to other guns, like any secondary abilities to any weapons?
We haven't got any ideas in mind, but we might do something. But so far we've just been trying to polish what we've currently got to the point where it's like amazing. And then I think that new right click abilities or additional content is going to come later. Because we do have a tendency as a dev team to just keep adding and adding and adding and adding, and they're not really, we've been bad at not finishing things. We just kind of keep adding new pieces without making sure that the old bits were perfect. So I've been trying to avoid doing that as of late.
Yeah. And I think now is probably a good time to throw in the shameless plug for our forums. We really enjoy the feedback. We have a slew of playtesters, and they give us wonderful ideas for combat, and we'd love to hear your suggestions. Even if you're not a playtester, head over to our website at faultlinegames.com/forums and sign up and let us know what you think about the game and what you want to see in it. I sound like a car salesman here, but it's really salesman. It's really important because this is your game. This is our game as gamers, and we definitely want to add things that people want to see in the game. So we don't know if you don't tell us. So head on over there and let us know what you want.
So let's talk about the game in general. We see the factions that you're doing here, and the combat, death match, fun, awesomeness, right? What are your hopes for combat? I mean, obviously you want it to be successful and you want a lot of people to play, but I mean, do you have any other larger plans? I know that you've worked a little bit on your spectator system a little bit, so that your overviews are set up for a little bit more possibly competitive play.
Well, we really don't know how well the competitive community will receive it. I hope they'll like it, but we've really been aiming for casual pub play. But then also, where we can, trying to make it as good as possible for competitive players. I think our first aim is to have the kind of launch where we have a lot of people playing it and enjoying it, and that we can provide the best game experience as possible, and we can be proud of what we've done. Which I think I'm proud of the product now, even if let's say we don't get as many sales as we're hoping for, and the servers aren't as full as we hope, I'll still be really happy with what we've achieved here. The other, sort of wider plans, we came from the mod community from NS2. I guess what I would like to see is people starting to make mods for combat, and then that's kind of, I don't know how many levels of modding that becomes, because that's like a mod of a game that became a mod, but yeah, crazy. I don't even know. I've lost count by that point, exactly. And with that in mind, I've really tried to make that possible, if it's at all possible. I think what I'd like to do post-launch is actually write some modding guides as well. For specific things like how to add a new skin, how to add a new announcer sound, how do you make a map for this, so that the community can start making their own content for it, and then possibly go on a sort of man economy spree if we ever get to that point.
Well, again, I just have to say that it's neat to see not just a straight port of the mod, and to see that you guys are taking the time to think of new abilities and fun new opportunities that you can do with the game. You guys have to be commended, and I want to congratulate you for putting together a really, really nice product. And I hope that people will take the time to check this out on October 31st and purchase the game and support you guys. I'm guessing you want to work on bringing even more. Do you have post-release plans depending on how successful things are?
We have ideas, yeah. We have a few different ideas on what we might do. I think what we'll probably do is react. We've got a couple of got a little playbook of ideas that we will just pick ideas from, I think, and probably we've got one map which is still in development, which isn't going to be out with the game at launch. We've got a couple of other community maps that we might work with those mappers to polish up, which is kind of how we came with the 5 that we started with. They were all community maps that were then, we worked with the mappers themselves, and we're giving them a revenue split, so that it's really a community effort here.
That's really cool. I mean, the fact that you guys are working with them to do that, is definitely a great opportunity for them to not only monetize a little bit of the work that they're doing, but shows just that little bit more appreciation from the community standpoint.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I really feel like this has been a real community effort, just because that's where our roots are, and I've really liked how the NS2 community has responded so far to the game, because I would have understood that not everybody would have been 100% behind it at first. I hope that we've converted a lot of people, just by sticking at it and really trying to listen to what people's concerns were. I think in terms of going back to your question about post-release content, we have a couple of ideas for new weapons. We've got a team of artists that are currently working on prototypes and concept art for new abilities. And obviously the art always comes first with those. So I guess, should we talk about one of those, do you think? We haven't actually had a discussion about what we might reveal in terms of the artwork today.
Yeah, I think that we can talk
about
it.
One of them.
Yeah, I think we can talk about any of it. Just no forewarning that this is not set in stone.
Absolutely, yeah. So we can talk about the ideas without necessarily. The big disclaimer here is we're not promising that any of this content will go in any particular order, because it's not at the point where we can just say, "Hey, it's done. There you go." I think we're looking at doing a new revolver type weapon for the Marines. That's I think something that would really branch them out a bit, and it would make the engineer a bit more powerful as well. Like something that would be very good at very close range. A good sort of holdout weapon. In terms of other new abilities, we've got some ideas for some new buildings as well. We're thinking of a new sentry, or a suite of new sentries for the Marines, so you can go for like a higher tier sentry upgrade with a different weapon on the top, possibly a railgun or a flamethrower or something. I don't know. So that's something we're looking at, but it comes down to whether it fits and whether it's our, when we release it, there might be something else that we need to do first. So I'm certainly not going to promise any. I'm just stating the ideas and our intent there. And we have new ideas for alien upgrades as well. We just haven't kind of solidified them yet. I should point out there's a new gorge ability that wasn't in the last time you played. It's a little mine that you can drop.
Yeah, I
which
placed a couple of
parasites
those.
anyone who runs into it and does a bit of damage as well.
And parasiting, for those of you that are familiar with, NS1 or natural selection, in general, You know, that parasiting can be a huge benefit to the alien team for knowing where the Marines are at any given time. So that's an awesome weapon. I actually think that's a really cool addition to the game in general.
It's very useful if you're defending the hive. You can just drop it on one of the routes into the hive, and if the Marines aren't looking, they will get caught by it, and then you've pretty much gooed the entire team, and you'll be able to see where they are. The good thing about being able to see the enemies through the walls as an alien is that everyone immediately knows where they are. Like, there's no ambiguity about where those Marines are going to attack from if you've managed to hit them with one of those.
So one of the other things that I was just noticing a second ago is a Marine was up in this upstairs area with me, and they were welding a control panel next to the windows. What in the world is that?
Weldables are back in, baby. So back from popular demand from NS1, there used to be weldable objects in the game, vents, doors, you name it. They are making a return back in combat, and after a lot of thought, we decided to put it in because we thought it'd be a great idea for changing up the map so that every time you play, there's a potential chance that welding a door might be a good idea, and it also might be a really bad idea. So it really opens up some possibilities for both teams to attack and defend from different standpoints. Like for instance, right now, you know, it was the windows are closed, so that means that the lurks can't fly through the windows. That's a huge, you know, disadvantage for lurks. So we think it's going to add a whole lot of different possibilities to the game, bringing that back.
You know, from my standpoint,
I don't know what just
and
happened
I'm not biased or anything, but I think that weldables actually make more sense in combat than they do in the regular natural selection. So I'm excited to see them. And I totally pressed the wrong button. I'm sorry. Okay, so well, guys, we've seen the Marines, we've seen the aliens, we talked about some of the cool new abilities, we've talked about the release date, the price of the game. I mean, what else is there really to talk about besides the fact that this is really awesome? And I, for one, am really super excited to bring some live gameplay on October 31st to everybody. I will definitely be streaming this game.
Well, I think in our intro we did promise a little sneak peek of the release trailer. Now, I should mention we're still working on it, and it's by no means finished, but could show... I mean,
Yeah.
What do you think, guys?
It's cool. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, it's certainly not the final version. The one that will go up on YouTube for launch will be different. We're cutting a fair amount from it because we realise it's a little bit too long. But yeah, I mean, if you want to show that.
All right. Well, great. Well,
Might
first
be
of all,
a good little...
let's do you know, a big thank you to all the playtesters that came and helped us today with the game.
Thank you, playtesters.
You know,
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, guys.
these guys helped make it be awesome. So that is definitely a big pro there. And ladies and gentlemen, for the first time ever, for your eyes, here is the almost final, near there trailer for combat. And we'll see you on the flip side.
See you guys.
NK Station, this is CFOB. Do you read?
CFOB, this is NK Station. We're getting some interference from your side. Switch from DS3 to FHS2 and say again over.
They're here. Hey, you're not.
CFOB, we cannot understand. Say again over.
You're not.
CFOB, this is NK Station. Your signal is too weak. We do not copy.
Damn it! Infested!
All right. Well, I'm super excited about that. I hope you guys are super excited about that. Guys, thank you so much for being here with us today. I want to say a special thank you to the guys at Faultline Games for letting me come in and take a peek at the game today. Yes, I know you're really watching a black screen right now. It's because I totally didn't have a graphic to go back to without music playing. But thank you guys. We are super excited for you and cannot wait to see the game in a couple weeks. Pre-orders, when are you going to be available on Steam to buy? The 31st or in advance?
It will be on the 31st, yeah. We decided not to do pre-orders. We want to make sure that we get that like best game experience for you. When you pay, you play. That's what we wanted.
Awesome. Well, there you have it, folks. October 31st. Look for it. That's Natural Selection 2 Combat. I'm Wasabi1. Thanks again to Faultline Games and all of their developers. And we'll see you next time.
Awesome. Thanks very much.